paper angels? They were just children's paper crafts on a tree until midnight, when they flew away to deliver messages of courage. The classroom of Grade 2B on the last day of school before the Christmas holiday was a place of beautiful, controlled chaos. The air, usually a studious mix of chalk dust and pencil shavings, was now a festive, happy perfume of cinnamon, of Elmer's glue, and of the faint, sweet scent of the candy canes that Mrs. Gable, their teacher, had promised them at the end of the day. The room was a blizzard of arts and crafts. Children, their faces a mask of pure creative concentration, their tongues sticking out from the corners of their mouths, were cutting and pasting and glittering. They were creating their final, most important, and most beloved Christmas craft of the year, the paper angels. The project was a simple one. Each child was given a single, plain, white sheet of construction paper, a pair of safety scissors, and a small pot of golden glitter. The angel's design was a tradition in Mrs. Gable's class, a simple, elegant, and almost foolproof series of folds in a single clever cut that produced a beautiful, three-dimensional angel, its wings outstretched, its simple paper robe a perfect conical bell. At the front of the classroom stood a small, slightly lopsided, but deeply loved Christmas tree. This was the classroom tree, and its branches were already heavy with the handmade and often clumsy ornaments from the past few weeks. This tree was not for the children to take home. It was for the classroom, a silent, festive, and pine-scented guardian that would keep watch over their empty desks during the long, quiet, and lonely holiday break. And the paper angels, as was the tradition, were to be the final, most beautiful, and most important addition to its branches. Characters wish or struggle, the heart's winter. In a quiet corner of the bustling, happy classroom, a small boy named Leo was struggling. Leo was a quiet, gentle, and deeply thoughtful child, a boy who felt things with a profound and sometimes overwhelming intensity. His hands, which were brilliant at drawing fantastical creatures and building intricate worlds with his Lego blocks, were clumsy with the simple, unforgiving geometry of the scissors and the paper. His first angel was a disaster, its head accidentally snipped off. His second had a lopsided wing, and on his third and final attempt, his hand had slipped, creating a small, jagged, and ugly tear right in the center of the angel's paper heart. He looked at his broken, imperfect creation, and a hot, familiar, and deeply frustrating wave of shame washed over him. He was, he felt, a disappointment. His struggle was not just with the paper. His mother was sick. She was not gravely ill, but a deep and persistent winter sickness had taken root in her, stealing her energy, her laughter, her bright, warm, and sunny spirit. And on his angel, as was the final secret part of the tradition, he was supposed to write a single secret wish. His wish, a desperate, silent, and powerful prayer he had been repeating in his heart for weeks, was a simple one. Please, make my mommy brave. He was afraid that his broken, imperfect angel would not be strong enough to carry such an important and heavy wish. He looked at the other children's beautiful, perfect, and glitter-dusted angels, and his own small and torn creation seemed to mock him. He wished with all his heart that he could create something strong, something perfect, something worthy of the important, sacred, and deeply loving message it was meant to carry. The magical encounter, a spark of wonder. Mrs. Gable, a woman whose wisdom was as gentle and as all-encompassing as the warm, cozy cardigans she always wore, noticed his silent and teary-eyed struggle. She came and knelt beside his small desk. She looked at the torn and crumpled angel. "Oh, Leo," she said, her voice a soft, warm, and comforting melody. "You have not made a mistake. You have made a very special angel." She took the small torn angel in her own kind hands. "You see," she whispered, her voice a shared and sacred secret, "the most important angels, the ones with the most important jobs, are often the ones that look a little broken. It is how the light gets in and out." She gave him a small, secret, and deeply reassuring wink. She helped him to gently smooth the crumpled wings and to apply a small, careful, and loving patch of golden glitter right over the tear in the angel's heart, turning its wound into a beautiful, shining, and golden scar. Leo, his heart a little lighter, carefully wrote his wish on the inside of the angel's paper robe. And when it was his turn, he walked to the front of the class and hung his small, imperfect, and now beautifully mended angel on a branch of the classroom tree. It was not the grandest nor the most perfect angel on the tree, but its small, golden, and glittering heart seemed to catch the light in a special, brave, and deeply hopeful way. The transformation, the gift within. That night, Christmas Eve, the school was a vast, silent, and deeply sleeping place. The hallways were dark, the classrooms were empty, and the only light came from the soft, silver glow of the moon through the tall, arched windows. In the deep and peaceful silence of Grade 2B, the small, lopsided classroom tree stood its lonely, festive, and pine-scented watch. And then, as the old clock in the hallway began its slow and resonant chiming for the midnight hour, a quiet and beautiful miracle began to unfold. A soft golden light began to emanate from the tree. It came from the paper angels. One by one, their simple paper forms began to glow with a warm, gentle, and living light. Their folded paper wings, which had been still and stiff, began to soften, to move, to gently and silently flutter. And as the 12th and final chime of midnight faded into the silent, holy night, they took flight. The paper angels, all 25 of them, lifted from the branches of the classroom tree, their glowing forms a silent, beautiful, and magical constellation in the dark and now sacred space of the classroom. They did not fly with a frantic, insect-like buzz. They flew with a slow, graceful, and utterly silent purpose, swirling and dancing in a beautiful choreographed ballet of pure and living light. And then, led by a small, brave angel with a single brightly shining and golden scar on its heart, they flew, not out of the window, but right through it, their magical paper forms passing through the solid, cold glass as if it were a gentle morning mist. They were on their way. They were a silent, beautiful, and deeply magical squadron of hope on a sacred and deeply important mission. They were going to deliver their messages. They flew, a silent, glowing, and beautiful procession, through the cold, silent, and snowy streets of the sleeping town. They found the homes of the children who had made them, and one by one they delivered their precious, silent, and heartfelt cargo. An angel carrying a wish for a new bicycle for a little sister landed on a handlebars and left a small, faint, and lingering glow of pure, golden hope. An angel carrying a wish for a grandfather's health found its way to a hospital room, and it hovered for a long, peaceful, and healing moment over the old man's sleeping form. And the small, brave angel with the golden glittering scar flew to Leo's house. It found his mother's room, and it settled as gently as a falling feather on her pillow, right beside her sleeping and feverish face. It did not speak. It did not touch her. It simply rested there, its own small and mended paper heart pouring its silent, golden, and deeply loving message of courage, of hope, and of a small and very brave boy's love directly into her own sleeping and weary heart. The ending, the whisper of Christmas. The next morning, Christmas Day, Leo awoke to a beautiful and unfamiliar sound. It was the sound of his mother in the kitchen, humming. He ran downstairs, and he found her not in her bed, weak and tired, but standing at the stove, a bright, happy, and familiar smile on her face, the old, bright, and sunny light back in her eyes. The fever had broken. The weariness was gone. Her strength, her laughter, her spirit had returned. "I had the most beautiful dream, my love," she said, her voice clear and strong and full of its old familiar music. "I dreamed that a small and very brave angel with a beautiful shining golden heart came and sat with me all night, and it told me that it was time to be brave." Leo smiled, a quiet, knowing, and deeply peaceful smile. He looked out the window at the bright, clean, and snow-covered world, and his own small heart was full of a light so bright, so warm, and so beautiful that he knew it would never, ever go out. The narrator reflects that a child's wish is a powerful and a beautiful magic. And sometimes the vessel we choose to carry our most important messages may seem small or imperfect or even a little bit broken. But it is these very imperfections, when mended with a hopeful and a loving heart, that create the small and necessary spaces for the light to get in and to shine back out into the world, brighter and more beautifully than we ever could have imagined. And that's how Christmas found its way into another heart.